Hi there, thanks for buying this project. I'm going to give you the rundown on how to plug in your content and how to get your audio in there and how to, link it up with the movement of the lips here. So before we get started, if you're interested in the music that I've used in the preview, you can pick that up at Away to the Top over at audiojungle.net. There's the URL. It's from Soundroll. And so once you've downloaded the file from VideoHive, you should see these. Actually, after you've unzipped the folder, you should see these files as well as the video tutorial that you're watching right now. Obviously, these are the male and female versions of the project, so whichever one you want to use, go ahead and open that up. Your assets folder here is basically just contains all the elements of the characters as well as their the clothing options. So if you wanted to make adjustments, more extensive adjustments to the clothing that they're wearing, you could do that in here, but you don't really need to get into that. You can do it within After Effects for the most part, just making basic adjustments. I'll show you how to do that in a minute here. So to show you how to use the project, I'm going to use this male version. I have it opened up in the background here. I've also imported a voiceover that we'll use for the movement of the mouth, and also I imported an image here to use as a placeholder. So one thing to note about the audio, you should be using a WAV format. If you use MP3, there's a good chance you're going to get pops and clicks and random weirdness that you don't want to deal with. So if you do have an MP3, convert it in an audio program to a WAV file. Don't convert it in After Effects. It might give you problems. So make sure you use a WAV file, import that in, and if you have it segmented into each shot, so like in the preview, this opening shot where he says, "Hi there, I'd like to tell you a little bit about Envato," and then it goes to a new scene here. Ideally you would have audio just for that one segment cut into one clip. And you would drag all those audio clips into, or you would import all those audio clips into your project, but you can have it all just as one long clip, and that's how I'm going to show you how to do it on this, but it'll probably be easier on you if you have the separate clips. So, okay, so this main edit here, this is the preview edit that you've seen on VideoHive. I just put it in here as as an example of how to put it all together, but it's probably not going to be very useful for you, considering that your video is going to be a different duration and each clip is going to be different. So I would suggest starting from scratch by creating a new composition, and I'm going to name mine New Edit. You can name yours whatever you want. Make it 1920 by 1080, 30 frames per second, and whatever duration you want your entire video to be. If you can guesstimate right now, and if you need to make it longer or shorter at that time, you can always go back into the composition settings and adjust it at that point. But I'm going to make this 2 minutes. I'm going to hit OK, and now we just need to drag in our shots. So up in the project panel here, you click on this little arrow here to see all the options that we have as far as shots are concerned. So you can see it's character left, dolly out. So character is to the left of the media and the camera pulls back. Let's see, another shot here is starts out as a character solo, and then it goes to character left of media, and you can open these up too and check them out, and you can see exactly what it is. So if you go to the beginning, he's talking, the media isn't there, and then the camera moves back, and then our character is to the left of the media. And you can also adjust the timing so that if you want him to be soloed for 10 seconds and then the camera moves back, you can do that, and you can see those settings are here just by pressing U as in user, and you can see those keyframes, and you would just slide those to whatever point that you needed. So if you wanted it at that 10 second mark, you could do that. And you would also, on this shot, you would need to move that down to there so that it starts right at that point. But I'm going to undo that, and I want to start by showing you how to get your audio set up. Okay, so one more thing about these shots here. So you can see that I've set up duplicates of each shot. So this character left dolly out _1, there are an additional 2 versions of it if you wanted to use those, _2 and _3. And also some of these that I've used for the preview edit, you can use those as well, but they're going to be shorter and it's going to take you a little bit more time to set up. So I would recommend just using these shots that are _1, _2, _3, and you can see there are tons of shots in there to choose from. Just go through there and check them each out and see which ones you want for your video. Once you find one that you like, or several that you like rather, go ahead and start dragging them out. So I'm going to start just by dragging this one in here, and so once we have it in our timeline, we just want to open it up so we can plug in our content. So double click to open it, and in this composition, this is where we're going to put our audio in and make adjustments to the character, his clothing basically, and get the mouth moving. And in this composition, this is where we're going to put in our image or video or text. You can also import another After Effects project, and if you wanted an animation in there, you could have that in there. So let's start by getting our audio set up. And you can see this composition is 20 seconds, so yours is not likely to be exactly 20 seconds. It's going to be either shorter or longer, most likely shorter, but I'll show you how to extend it if you want to do that. But let's start by making a shorter one. So let's drop in our audio here. I imported this earlier. You're not going to have this audio in here, you just want to drag in yours. On your numeric keypad, press the period key, and that's going to give you a preview of just the audio. So I'm going to go ahead and hit that now.
Hi there, I'd like to tell you a little bit about Envato. Hi there, I'd like to tell you a little bit about Envato. At Envato, our mission is to help people earn and learn online.
I'm going to want to cut it right after he says to help people earn and learn online. So also when you can hear the audio by holding down Control and then clicking on the timeline there and dragging the current time indicator. So Control, click and drag, and you can hear the audio and scrub through it. So and that's, oops. I'm going to want mine to end right there. So I'm going to hit the N key, N as in Nancy. That's the N key on my keyboard. And so I'm going to, basically what that does is it puts the end of your work area wherever your current time indicator is. So since that's where I want to cut the scene, that's where I'm going to put the current time indicator in the work area there. So at that point, I right click, go to trim clump to work area, and now that shot is the exact time that I want for this shot. So at this point we want to right click the voiceover layer and then go to keyframe assistant, convert audio to keyframes, and then select that audio amplitude layer that it just created, hit the U key as in user, and you want to click on this bottom slider here where it says both channels. So make sure you click where it says slider, not on both channels, right here. And you can see it selects all these keyframes here, so that's what you want. You want to now hit Control C to copy, and then go down to this other audio amplitude layer, hit Control V, that'll paste our keyframes into place. And let's go back up and delete this audio amplitude layer here. You don't want to leave this in here, it could cause problems for you, so delete. And at this point you can see, we zoom in here, we already have the mouth movement here, but he's opening his mouth a little bit wider than I would like, so that's why we have the max mouth setting. If you select that and then go up to the Effect Controls panel, you can see the slider that we need to adjust here to get the proper mouth opening. So you're going to want this between probably like 8 and 25, but 25 is probably really at the high end. So the higher the number, the less he's going to open up his mouth. The lower the number, the wider he's going to open up his mouth, and the more often it's going to stay open. So you're probably going to need to play around with this a little bit until you get the right setting for your audio, and everyone's audio is going to be a little bit different because everyone talks a little bit louder or quieter, and also, you know, your audio recording equipment is going to be set up differently than mine or anyone else's. So you have to play around with this a little bit to get it right. But I've found for mine, usually around 20 is a good number, so you can see his mouth isn't flapping open all the time or staying open. So if I hit 0 on the numeric keypad, at this point I'll be able to play back with the mouth movement and the audio in sync. So let's go ahead and do that. 0 on the numeric keypad.
Hi there. I'd like to tell you a little bit about Envato.
And I'm pretty happy with that. Maybe you would like to have his mouth open up more or less. Whatever works for you, adjust it until you get it how you want it. Okay, so the facial expression setting, let's go back to the beginning so you can get a good idea of what this does. It basically adjusts his facial expression. What a surprise. So 0 is going to be his happiest, and 10 is a more neutral, serious expression. And you can go anywhere in between, and you can see it's going to smile or move more into a normal position there. And if you go beyond 10 or below 0, it won't register. So between 0 and 10 is where you want it. I'm going to leave it at 0, and I think that's looking good. So let's close that out and close that. We need to adjust the length of this media composition here, as well as plug in our media. So let's scrub down to the end point of this composition here, this layer here, and we can snap right to the end of it if we hold down Shift and scrub at the same time. So Shift and then scrub, and you can see it snaps automatically to the end there. And we just want to open up this insert media here, and you can see that the current time indicator is going to maintain that position when we open it up. So 6:11, open it up, and 6:11, and that's where we need to trim. So hit N as in Nancy, right click the work area, trim comp to work area, and now we have the right length there. And we just want to drag in our image or video, or type in the text that you want, or put in your animation or whatever you want in there. So I'm going to use this Photodune image that I purchased, and I have the snap on, so it snaps to these guides here. But if you want to fine-tune, adjust the position, go up to View, select Snap to Guides, and that'll turn that off, and you can position it a little bit better. And I'm going to scale it up a tiny bit. So these guides, basically the inner guides here, this one here and this one here, between those, that's where you're going to want to have any text. If you go outside of that, it may be off the side of the screen at some point, or it may be behind the characters. So stay between those lines for text, and then between these outer guides for, you know, images that it's not like crucial to have everything included in your final image. And you can always you know, drop it in there and then see what it looks like over in the shot. So say, okay, I can go a little bit closer to the character here, so I can scale that up a bit. And also, if you're trying to work around this and these guides are getting in your way, you can go to View and Lock Guides, and then you can see it won't, you can't adjust those anymore. So that's helpful if that's getting in your way. So okay, I have that the way I want it now. So let's close that composition, and we need to, once again, hold down Shift and scrub until we get to the end of these comps here, so that we can trim this comp to the correct time. But before we do that, we need to adjust any camera moves. So U as in user on the keyboard, and that you can see reveals any keyframes that we need to adjust. So we just want to move these end keyframes down to the end of the new end of the composition here. So hit N for N as in Nancy, and we're going to trim that comp. And now that shot is set up and ready to go. So let's close that out, and you can see back in our new edit composition here, it's in there. The audio is synced to the mouth movement, and we have the media in here as well. And so one thing you're probably going to want to do is, you can see the background actually isn't black, it's transparent. So we need to drop in a background of some sort. You can see that in here I used a white background, and I put a vignette over the top of it. So I'm going to copy that vignette. So select that layer, Control C, go into New Edit, drop it on top of that, and you can see that vignette is showing up there. If you don't want that on yours, you can just leave it off, but I think it adds a little bit to it. And for the background layer, we can hit Control Y. That's Y as in your, or yellow. And we want to create a solid that's 1920 by 1080, and we'll call it BG for background. And I'm going to make it white. Hit OK. You can make it any color you want. Hit OK. And then move it down to the very bottom, and you can see now we have everything set up for that initial shot, and this background is going to carry on throughout our video, and we're going to need to drag that to the end here, the vignette. So now we just need to drop in our audio into the other compositions and put in our media, and just carry on as we did in this this initial shot that we put together here. So let's do one of these full screens. So I'm going to click this layer here, click and drag, and drop it into the timeline, and if I hold Shift, I can snap it right into place where that other layer ends, and we don't want these to overlap. We want one to begin where the other one ends. If you overlap them, you're going to have that going on, so make sure to hold down Shift and move it so that it lines up right at the point where the other one ends. Okay, so on this shot I'm going to show you how to extend the duration of it in case you wanted it to be longer than 20 seconds. So double click to open it, and we will extend the duration in here. So let's say you needed it to be 25 seconds rather than the 20 that it is right now. You can go into composition settings, and in the duration you want to set it to 25 or whatever you need it to be. Hit OK, zoom out, and click on the edge of the camera layer here, drag it to the end, hit U as in user, and highlight these keyframes here, and then drag them down to the end so that the camera keeps moving throughout. And now we need to adjust these comps so that they extend to the end of the shot here. So open up this character adjustments layer or composition, go to composition settings, make it 25, hit OK, zoom out, and we're going to need to drag all these layers out to the end here. So Control A as in apple, or A as in all. Click and drag on the edge here, so click on the edge and drag until you get to the 25-second mark, and that's good for that. So let's close that and then drag the edge here until we get to the end, and so that's set up. And now we just need to do the same with this one, so double click it and composition settings, 25, hit OK, zoom out, and whatever media that we have in here, we need to extend it to the end so that it's always on. Close it out, and then click and drag the edge here till the end, and now we have a 25-second shot set up, and we just need to go in like the other one and drop in our media in here and put in our audio into this one. So just one more time in case you didn't get it the first time. So we drop in our audio, get it to position to where you need it, and right click, keyframe assistant, convert audio to keyframes, select U as in user, select the slider here underneath the both channels, Control C to copy, select this other audio amplitude layer, Control V to paste, delete this upper audio amplitude layer, and then you adjust your max mouth to whatever you need it to. I'm going to set it to 20 again, and I'm going to leave the facial expression as it is, and let's put in some full screen media real quick here. I'm going to just use that same image here. I'm going to scale it up so that it takes up the entire background. Close that out. Probably not the best image for this shot, but you get the idea. You could have a video back there, or maybe your website. I've set it up with other shots that looked a lot better than this, but you get the idea there. So let's go ahead and hit 0 on the numeric keypad, and we can see that it's all plugged in, and we have our mouth movement and everything's all set up and ready to go. So it's taking a while to render, so I'm just going to show you the first couple of seconds here. So,
hi there. I'd like to tell you a little bit about. Hi there. I'd like to tell you a little bit about.
It's kind of small in the preview there, but you get the idea. It's all set up. So, back in the main edit here, the new edit that we set up, to make sure that that entire shot is in that edit, we need to extend this right here to the so that the full 25 seconds is on. The way it was, it would have only shown 20 seconds and then it would have cut off, so make sure you drag that to the end there. And so you just need to keep going through there and get in all the shots that you need. So whatever shot you want to use next, you just drop it in there. Make sure you butt it up against there, and you just plug in all your media like you need it. There's also a transition in here if you want to use that to help you to go from one shot to the next. If it looks a little jarring to just have a cut edit, so a hard cut. So this transition may help you out. So you want to get it so that the middle of it is right over the point where the two shots meet. So you can see it comes across, and then after it dissipates, we have our new shot on. Okay, so at this point, let's say we want to end this video, and we only needed 3 shots in here, and so we wanted our video to end at this 51:13 mark. So we hit N for Nancy, trim comp to work area, and at that point we're ready to render. Some of the additional options that you may want to change before you do that render are changing the background color. You can do that by selecting that background, go to layer, select the background, go to layer, solid settings, and set it to whatever color you like. And it's not going to come through on this one because that background is a full screen image. But if we go over here, you can see it's in there. And you can also drop in images, or you can also do, if you go into the effects and presets panel here, do a search for ramp, R-A-M-P, and drop that on the background layer. This will basically allow you to do gradients in the background here. So one thing I like to do is the radial, and then set the start point right in the middle here, and the end of ramp down here, and then change the colors to something more appealing. You can set up anything you like, but for this, let's use a red and a darker red for the end color here. And so yeah, you can basically set up anything that you want back there. Okay, so to change the outfit that the character is wearing, go into the project panel, go to Mail Clothes Setup, double click it, and you can see in here, here are all the bodies. Just turn on the visibility for whichever body you want. So if you want the suit, turn on the suit, or the jeans and plain shirt, jeans and button-up shirt, black pants and plain shirt. And with this one here, you need to have both of these layers turned on. So jeans and colored shirt with the change color of the shirt here. So you turn both of those on, and you can change the color of the shirt by selecting this layer here. I'm going to hide the mask. I'm going to zoom in a little bit so we can get a better view of it. Go to Effect Controls panel, and we need to just adjust these settings until we get the color that we like. So let's say we want to make it a green color, so let's adjust this until we get close to green, and that's good. Let's say we want it to be a bit more bright of a green, so we can adjust the saturation, and it'll change the color a bit. And also, if you want to brighten it up a little bit, you can do that with the lightness, or darken it if you like. If you go too dark, it's going to go black. If you go too light, it'll just take out all the shadows and everything. So play around with those until you get the look you're after. Also for this one too, you can, for the black pants and colored shirt, you can use that color changing layer with that as well. And there's also this option of slacks and a button-up shirt. And in the female project, you'll have a lot more options in there as well for clothes. And there's also the shirt color changer layer in there as well. It's above each layer that you can use it on. So it'll say, change color of shirt below here, and you just turn that on and turn the layer on beneath it. Let's just turn on the suit for now, and if we go back into our main edit, you can see that outfit has come through on all these compositions here. So one more thing, if you wanted to add in the logo that I put on the shirt, if you wanted to put a logo on there, you can do that by going into the Mail Clothes Setup again, and finding one of these plain shirts here, and then just drop in your logo on top of that, or whatever graphic. I'm going to use this social media image again, and scale it down. And it's best if you use an image that has an alpha channel, so that you don't have this hard edge around the edge there. And just position it however you want. This isn't perfect, but it gives you a basic idea of what you can do. And close that out, and you can see back here in the main edit that's come through on this shirt. Okay, so hopefully that covers everything. If not, don't hesitate to send me an email. Also, if you have any questions on anything else, just send over an email from my profile page. Thanks again for buying the project.